The coaching carousel got started in a major way, and it's only right that the SEC was the one to get things off, get the ball rolling, so quickly. First, Texas A&M, then fired Jimbo Fisher shortly after beating Mississippi State in dominant fashion, 51-10, home SEC win, where the Aggies looked really well, really good, played great in all cylinders. It looked like they had things going, potentially had some momentum going into the final two games of the season with LSU as a regular season finale, made bowl eligible. So there's some good things going, and the Aggies opted to make the change, decided like it was finally time to wipe the slate, get a fresh face in the building. Jimmy Fisher did some things well in College Station. He beat Alabama, beat LSU, recruited at a very high level. Added some elite talent in that program, but for whatever reason, could never get over that hump. Really compete for an SEC or national championship. And that's what the Aggies hired him to do. He won that national title at Florida State. The Aggies obviously gave him a huge contract that's been well documented by now. Um, Ultimately, those in College Station felt like it was time to finally move on. They want that fresh face to potentially get him over that hump. And some interesting names have been linked to that job opening. You got Dan Lanning who's come out and said that he's not leaving Oregon, but he's a name of interest. Mike Elko, the Duke head coach who was previously the defensive coordinator at A&M. Jeff Traylor, the well-connected head coach at UTSA with connections all over Texas, thanks to his high school coaching career. That's another name being thrown around. There's plenty of names being mentioned, but the Aggies really need to nail this hire. They have the resources, they have the money, they have the backing, they have the recruiting footprint, all that kind of stuff to win big. They see Texas, finally, getting over their own hump and competing for a conference title this season in the Big 12 with Steve Sarkisian. They're right in the cusp of potentially making the college football playoff, and they have the SEC next year. So the Aggies are looking to do the same thing. Nailing this hire is going to be huge for the Aggies. Like I said, they have everything going for them. Just getting that right guy in the program, get them over their hump is going to be big. With the early signing period coming up, the hire is going to be even or that much more important to make. The recruiting class right now is holding strong during the transition, but still, A&M's obviously going to want to make a hire sooner than later. But it's going to be important for them to make the right hire, get the right guy in charge of that program. So that they can win big. Elsewhere, Mississippi State also made the change. They were on the other side of that 51-10 game, obviously on a losing defeat in that matchup with the Aggies. Bulldogs fired first year head coach Zach Cornett. He was in a tough spot. He took over after the tragedy to Michael Leach last winter. He held on to the recruiting class, was able to, add and keep some key members on the coaching staff. But for whatever reason, things never really got off the ground in his first and only season in Starkville. Um, the recruiting took a hit. They weren't recruiting at the level that they expected to, that they happened in previous years. Just lost a commitment from rivals 250 wide receiver Braylon Burnside, a Starkville kid, hometown kid that's looking to explore other options. So a change needed to be done, and especially with the on-field product. Mississippi State was really struggling in that regard as well. They did beat Arkansas 7-3 in an otherwise ugly game. Other than that, the Bulldogs were struggling in the SEC mightily. First year athletic director Zach Selman, who came over from Oklahoma, and he thought it was time to make that change. No need to wait. For the Bulldogs, they really need some juice in that program in a major way. They need some momentum. Something for the fans to be excited about. You see Ole Miss, with some swag with Lane Kiffin winning some big games. Playing in some big games. Ranked inside the top 10 and top 15 in the college football playoff poll. They're recruiting the state really well this cycle, especially along the defensive line, where Mississippi State traditionally, historically, is really dominating that state at that position in the trenches. So Mississippi State really needs to get this hire right. That's does A&M for obvious reasons. But the most important thing, or arguably the most important thing, is just get juice going. They really need some momentum flowing in that program, some excitement flowing around that program in a big way. So Mississippi State and Texas A&M, two job openings we're looking at here in the Mid-South. Two big hires, that are expected to be made in the coming week. So that's going to be two big storylines we'll keep an eye on here at Rivals.